Meanwhile, Safa President Danny Jordaan is set to return to the Palm Ridge Magistrate Court on the 7th of February after his application to have his fraud case thrown out of court dismissed earlier. Newzroom Afrika's Leshoro was in court. He joins me now to chat about what happened. It was a long day in court, Benjamin. There were two applications. One did go the way of Danny Jordaan and his legal team. The other one didn't. So let's start with the first application that we heard, and that was the state saying that they didn't want Norman Arendse to be representing Danny.
Yeah, a long and dragging day in court today, Valen, quite rightly so. What you're saying, that the first matter was the state applying for Norman Arendse SC, the representative of Danny Jordaan, accused number 1 and accused number 3, in this matter, to recuse himself. And basically, what they were standing on was that he's represented Safa before in matters. You'll remember he famously represented Safa in the matter when they were taken to court by former Vice President Riale Dwaba and President of Safa Tshwane Solimo Hlabeng, which they won. The leading defense attorney there was Advocate Norman Arendse, and he's done a lot of other work for the association. They quoted from 2013, other work. So that was the first matter. But in defense, he came out and said, look, there's absolutely no reason the state should be saying this, because I am not on a retainer for Safa. First of all, if they need work to be done on a case-to-case basis, I will avail myself, as I do for every other citizen of this country, but I'm not on a retainer, so I do not work for them. But I think the key in the matter, the killer blow for the state, was when he mentioned that the court does not have jurisdiction on this particular matter. That was the knockout blow for the state, because Magistrate Shirley Soko then agreed with him later on in handing down the ruling to say, my hands are tied. Importantly, she did not say Norman Arendse is not conflicted. She said, my hands are tied. I cannot make a ruling on this matter. I do not have jurisdiction. So she did not make any pronouncement on him being conflicted or not.
I suppose it's part of the reason why the state was quite happy to accept the ruling and decide not to appeal it or have any comment thereafter to actually appeal it. What did go their way, however, the state's way, was the fact that Danny and Hluyo applying for the matter to be struck off of the roll due to unnecessary delays, and the magistrate quite clearly stating that that is not the case. Yeah,
it was a day of dismissals, it would seem, in court today. And interestingly, the lawyer for accused number 2 and 4, that's Trevor Nyethling, the head of Grid Communications, and Grid Communications itself, decided that they're going to join in the application for the matter to be struck off the roll. Last week, they were not so sure. They had gone over the past few days to mull over it. They had now decided to join in to say it must be thrown out of court, citing unreasonable delays. And the main thing was that there is other matters that are in other courts, like Safa applying for the search and seizure that took place on the 8th of March at their headquarters in Nasrec, to be dismissed, declared unlawful, whatever you like. And that would then, what they're arguing is that would affect the state's case. But the prosecution then came back and said, look, our case is not resting on whatever happens with the High Court application for Safa. Even if there's an order that raid was unlawful and the evidence must be returned and all copies must be destroyed, we still have a case because we have evidence gathered even before the search and seizure operation earlier this year. So that was very interesting. But the magistrate again said it does not matter, because we do not depend really on what happens at the High Court. They run their own race, in our own words. We run our own race. Unless there's an order from the High Court, then we continue. It's business as usual for us here. We have nothing to do with what happens at the High Court, even if it can go either way.
So trial is set, or trial proceedings rather, because we still need the pre-trial to happen, set to begin next year, just a month and a half away. Benjamin Leshoro, thank you very much. Following closely what's happening in court between Safa president, who has refused to step aside as the head of the Football Federation, Danny Jordaan, and his co-accused in the fraud matter, which is currently before South Africa's courts.